Okay, so I think it is about time we get started. So, hello everyone. Welcome
Hello.
to the second nerve control interview as this part of the OC University Nerve Control Interview Week, where basically we have a week of interviews that are dedicated to a specific topic. And with me today is mrekk. Hello, hello.
Hello, everyone.
So, I'm sure I think if someone is listening to this, then they probably already know who you are. But just to give a bit of background, could you explain a little bit who you are and what people probably know you as?
Hello, my name's Emric. I'm 15 years old. I'm mostly known for being the number one OC player, and I'm 15 years old, and I'm pretty young, I guess.
Okay, so let's just start very simply. Can you describe what nerve control is in your own words?
Nerve control is I don't know. I can't play. So nerve control is like when like something happens and like some like for example a tournament, right?
Right.
A lot of people get nervous and like to control your nerves. You just gotta not be nervous, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, so it's basically like figuring out how to like not get nervous in those stressful situations.
Yeah,
Like either if you're like holding a really good score in solo or just being in a high stress tournament match or something like that.
yeah.
Um so actually that's a pretty good comparison and I guess we can start there. Like do you find a difference in the way that you handle nerves in solo play versus tournament play?
In solo play, like I don't really get that nervous when it's like maybe if it's like a end game score, but in like a normal play, I guess maybe like medium amount of nerves.
Okay, it's like a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 nervous.
Yeah, yeah, 6 out of 10 pretty much. But if it's end game, then like an end game like United DT. I
Oh,
was really nervous. Like that's probably a 10 out of 10 nerves, man.
oh my god.
Yeah.
And
So
how does that compare to tournaments more or less?
tournaments, if I'm versing someone that's like gonna be very very challenging, then I'm gonna be very nervous. But if it's someone who's around, like it can still be close, of course. But
Right.
but I would probably be a lot less nervous. But most of the time when I'm versing like that Matthew match, I wasn't nervous at the start. But since it got closer and closer, I got really nervous.
Oh, okay. Do you Okay, so let's start at solo play. So you mentioned that like for the majority of your scores you really only get a little nervous. Um is that something that was always the case? Like as you were improving, like would you ever get nervous at like even like things that are supposed to be relatively easy for you? Like let's say for the most part you were FCing like 5 or 6 star maps. Would you like tend to get nervous for average runs as well, or only for things that were really hard for you?
Well, me not like being nervous for the majority of my scores wasn't always the case. Like if it was even like my top 70 play, I used to get nervous like a lot and improved over time, and now I'm here. So
Oh, okay. So, do you think there's anything that really changed between then and now, and like the way that you handle your nerves or the way that you think about your scores?
when back then, wait, uh wait, my brain just went blank. Can you like
No,
say
yeah.
the question again?
Okay, so do you think there's a difference in the way that you handle your nerves between like back then and then like these days? Since
Okay,
okay,
like back then, I did not get like when I was like back then when I was FCing best friends no mod, right? Like at
right.
that time, I wouldn't get nerves because I didn't even know what I was doing. I used to play for fun, but at the same time gaining ranks for fun, and I didn't know, so I just got those scores for fun and
Uh-huh.
no nerves. But as time went on, I realized like as I took it more seriously, I started getting nervous, and now I would get nervous in every play. And then after that, uh, I started to improve like over time. Now I'm here.
Okay, so would you say that like just sort of as you've improved your skill level as a player, like things seem to be less like make you less nervous?
Yes, unless it was like a very very hard score to do.
Okay, I see. Um and do you so like even when you do get nervous, how like or what methods, I guess, do you feel like have worked the best for you to make sure that you getting nervous doesn't make you miss or play poorly?
Uh, I don't think I've used any method. I think I just play on honestly
Okay, so
because
wait, no, you go.
because when I don't know because I just play up the shakes I guess and hope that I don't miss. But it's gonna be obviously harder to miss when you have nerves. So
Right.
yeah,
So you basically are of the perspective that you like if you do get nervous, then just keep practicing to play through your shakes until it's not really as much of a problem, would you say?
yeah, pretty much
Okay,
I
so
guess.
like have you found that like between like a couple years ago and now, like when you get shaky, you're just kind of better at dealing with it because you've been nervous so many times before?
But uh, yeah, back then I would miss a lot because of nerves. So I guess it improves.
Okay. So you okay, so my understanding is that you just have like through more experience of like either like just being a better player or that like than you were before or like just having more experience being nervous that it just doesn't really affect you as much.
Uh, yeah.
So is there anything in particular that you like think about or like talk to yourself about or during runs like to try to make yourself feel less nervous?
Uh, I'm pretty sure I like after plays. I don't think I think of anything except hit this one jump part, hit this diff spike, hit this diff spike, and that's it.
Okay.
That's all that's going on in my mind.
Okay, so
Or
so you get very, I guess, focused on like just like making sure that you hit the next pattern. You don't try to really distract yourself. Is that right?
uh, yeah, it's gonna be a very hard method to get used to, but that's what I do.
Okay, so do you ever find that you over focus sometimes? Like in your head, you're like, "Oh, just hit this one hard part, just hit this hard part," and then like you get so focused on it that your mind just blanks and you misread or just mess up or something.
Yeah, that happens, but I try to teach myself not to overthink that much.
Okay,
Pretty much.
do you have any, I guess, tips for ways to like make sure that you don't over focus?
Uh, like I would say just like say to yourself there's a dislike, but just play casual. I guess I don't know. I don't
Okay,
know how to explain it.
okay. So, let me see if I can explain what you probably mean. Like, you want to be like just barely focused enough that you don't drop your attention, but then you still want to just sort of like stay sort of loose and not get too like caught up in the nerves, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Okay, so let's see. There's a question that came in from someone named I Like Random who asks, during a particularly long slash difficult map, I always tend to choke towards the end because of nerves I get just from knowing that the end of the map is coming. Is there any way to avoid this? So basically,
Um.
like y- getting nervous just because you know that like the end of the map is coming and that you're doing pretty well. and then like you just kind of always tend to choke because of that?
Well, I don't think I get nervous until I hit the hard part. Honestly, I think, or like maybe if like FC something you're doing really well, or I'm pretty sure that's what he's saying, right? He's
Right.
saying that yeah, I'm doing really well, and the end of the map is coming, and I need to FC this or something. He's saying that, right?
Right, right.
So, what I would do is I don't know, try not to worry too much, I guess. But
Okay.
like
Um
what I do is that I don't know, I kind of just do this method where I just like look at every note.
oh, okay. So you like try to look at each individual note.
Yeah, sometimes I miss though because I lose focus.
Okay. But for the most part you don't play by looking at every note, right?
Yes, but if there's a hard part, then I would probably do that unless it's too fast, like 310 BPM plus.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting actually. So is that a way that you try to control your nerves, or like even when you're not nervous, you try to do that on hard parts?
Uh, I also do it when I'm not nervous, honestly. But when it like I don't know honestly. I can't explain anything
Okay.
right now. But
No, you're good. You're good. Um, so shoot, I did have a question, but now I cannot remember. Okay, I'll try to come back to it. Um, okay. Oh, that's right. So I saw this question and I thought it was really interesting. So someone named Kobo asks, "This is a question for Emmerich. Have you ever had that sudden feeling that you might miss in the next few notes? It's hard to explain, but it's not the same as the looming thought in your mind that you're gonna miss suddenly. Like your your nerves don't really get affected by it. Your focus doesn't really change. Your heart rate's still the same. It's just like an inner feeling that out of nowhere you're just gonna miss, and then the next thing you know, you actually missed. I'd like to know if you actually experience that kind of feeling and how you deal with it, especially since most of your scores come from grinding them a ton compared to other players." So basically, he's saying, like, do you ever just like randomly like get this thought that's like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss soon. And then like you just miss. Like, is that really something that happens to you?
yes, that happens to me. I don't know. I kind of just I think maybe it's a consistency problem or something. I don't know, but it happens to me sometimes.
Okay,
Like
do you have any like tips for like how to deal with that? Or like even if you're not really sure how to prevent it, just like ways to not get too stressed about it?
uh yeah, I guess it's shit miss, I guess, but yeah. Ah, I mean, the sound feeling. I can't explain it, but
'Cause- uh,
ah,
okay, you're good. You're good. So you're basically saying that like if you do end up missing, then like don't like be too hard on yourself, and you can
yeah,
just try again.
yeah, but if it happens in tournaments, then I guess
Oh,
uh, yeah, tournaments are different part.
does
But
that happen to you in tournaments sometimes?
I don't think it happens as much as solo because tournaments are fun, and I have a
Oh,
great mindset. I have a really good mindset when it comes to tournaments because tournaments are fun. So
oh,
sometimes I play better in tournaments than solo, but
that's
yeah.
interesting. Wait, can you talk about that a bit more? Like the, I guess, mentality differences that you might have in solo versus like tournaments, and like what exactly makes tournaments more fun to you?
Well, since I've been playing Osu solo for pretty much my whole Osu, I found
Right.
Osu like a different way to play the game,
Oh,
and
okay.
it just feels like I'm playing a new game all over again.
Oh,
And
I see.
and now it just feels really fun now.
Yeah.
Pretty much, of course, I get nervous, but I
Right.
think it'll improve over time.
And do you find differences in like 1v1s versus team tournaments?
Uh, team tournaments. Team tournaments. I think that like since I'm not in many super teams, I get nervous against super teams pretty much because they are super teams. They are hard.
Oh,
So
okay.
but in 1v1s, I can deal with it pretty much because I don't know, like since it's a 1v1, I don't have to uh, uh like worry about much, like about like four people like going up on me, and like in
Oh,
1v1, in 1v1s, I can pick maps that is me, and I don't have to bench on like 5 maps.
oh, okay. So part of it is like just like not needing to jump in and out of the lobby and like throw off your momentum, so to speak. Is that something that you would agree with?
Yeah, and 1v1 tournaments are just more fun. That's why I've had like 20 1v1 tournaments asking professional players to do so.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. So do you find that in team tournaments you have this pressure to perform well for your team?
Yeah, I do. So sometimes they have really high expectancy, like don't worry guys, mrekk would just FC every map. And then now I just have this pressure to FC every single map. So yeah,
Oh, does that happen often?
yeah.
Okay, now's your chance. Just tell everyone to stop doing that. um, what I mean, what exactly do you think or try to tell yourself to like take that pressure off of you during team tournaments, if anything?
uh I don't really do well in like taking off pressure, but I think sometimes I just deal with it and just let it go. Sometimes I just try not to think about anything and then just focus on the tournament itself, and I guess don't care about what other people say, and just play yourself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah, I find that so there is this skin element that you could use to like hide your leaderboard during like even during the breaks. Is that something that you use in team tournaments or something or in solo tournaments?
I leave my leaderboards open because uh, like when if I hide my leaderboard, I just get really curious and I miss. So I'm basically
Oh,
forced to do this.
I see. Okay. So going back to the whole thing about expectations on you as a player, like in team tournaments, Um, do you feel that same sort of pressure sometimes, like in solo play? Like if you're streaming and going for some end game score, like having that pressure on you, like is that something that affects you at all?
I've gotten used to streaming Osu, but like when I got number one, I had like I think that was the time where I had so much pressure on me because there are 20,000 people waiting for me to get number one.
Oh, so you're saying that that stream where you were grinding for Rig One?
Yes, and there was also like a 30 people VC waiting to clap for me when I get number one.
Oh,
And I was worrying like, what if I don't get it? Will they be disappointed or something like that?
oh. I mean, I'm sure that they'll be there for whenever you did end up getting it. But yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from there. So, is that like the biggest situation that you can think of where you really felt pressure in solo play?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so for the most part, for from what I understand, you kind of just play like at your own leisure and don't really think too much about like what other people say about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um so when you are going for those like end game scores, like do you ever think about like what when you're holding an FC on a score like that versus I guess just like any I guess usual score, is there like anything different that you think to yourself during those like special runs where you feel like the community is going to be like going crazy over it or something?
Uh. Wait, what'd you say again? Long
Like
time back.
no, you're good, you're good. Um so on in those runs that are like very end game scores, like is there anything different that you sort of tell yourself or like think about like towards the end of the run?
Towards the end of the run. So at the end of the run, I still feel a lot of pressure because I know if I get it, the community would go bonkers. I mean, like they would they would go crazy pretty much. I guess
Who would go crazy?
the
Oh,
whole
oh, oh,
community. If I got an end game score, then the whole community would go crazy.
right. Is that something that like you tend to think about during those runs?
During my United run, I don't think I really like during United, I didn't think I'd think about it that much, but I definitely thought about like how good the score would be, but I didn't think how the community would react. But I definitely knew how good the score would be since I think the community has been waiting for Ryu K to FC. It's like 3 years ago.
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah, and I think I was going crazy about it too, and I was like, "Who is this man? How does he do it?" And then now I have seen it first, and I was like, "Wow, wow."
Yeah, that is crazy. Um, do you so is there like anything in particular that you do to try to not think about the community, or do you just sometimes just sort of sometimes you think about it, sometimes you don't, and it just depends randomly?
Yeah, yeah, it just depends. Like sometimes my thoughts like for some reason sometimes like really uh sometimes I think about the community, sometimes I don't. But there's also this thing like when I think about like how was my aim this good? What if I like miss somewhere? Because then I start missing everywhere, and then I have to wait till I stop thinking about it. I don't know why
Oh,
that happens to me.
yeah, I think that that's actually not uncommon from what I understand. Like randomly, you're just um how am I hitting everything, and then you just start getting really self-conscious about your aim, and then you just start missing. Is that like what happens to you?
Yeah.
So you said that like when that happens, you just sort of sit and wait for it to go away. So do you have any sort of like method that you like to use to like help that go away, or um like do you just sort of like sit there and like just try to play whatever until you forget about it?
Like you mean like when there's like jumps that go on forever?
Like when you start thinking a lot about your aim and then you start missing, then is there anything
Yeah,
that you do to help yourself forget about it, or do you just kind of wait until it goes away?
I just wait. Yeah, I just wait. But you know that lonely map.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
Yeah, that map. Like, I get every single time I play. I don't think about that at all. But when I start to the jumps, I hit everything, and then I get really self conscious about it, and I miss. So
Oh,
yeah,
so like in the middle of a very long jump section, like maybe like halfway through or towards the end of like a really long jump part, you like start realizing that you're FCing and like you're still hitting everything, and then you're like, "Oh my god, how am I hitting everything?" And then is that sort of like what causes it, do you think, for the most
yeah.
part? Okay. Um is it have you experimented with any ways to like have that not really happen in the first place, or do you just sort of like pray that you don't get nervous?
I just pray, but I've gone. I'm not trying to use this as a flex or anything,
Right.
but I'm trying my best not to. But I've gotten. I don't want to. I've gotten so used to 1,000 PP score that I just don't get nervous in them anymore.
Uh, I mean that I think that's fair to say. I think that's very fair to say. Um, because I think basically how it is like whatever is considered like usual for you, or like whatever you know is like the edge of your skill cap, then like that's usually the only stuff that you get nervous about. Like end game scores, as you would say, for you are, I guess, like, you know, at the edge of your skill level. But like for the most part, anything that's like something that you've sort of been through already, like you tend to not really get as nervous. Like I think in tournament play you find this as well. Like the first time you were in the grand finals, for example, was probably a lot more nerve wracking than these days. Like when you play like really hard matches.
Yeah, I think my first tournament was when I was ranked 15 or 7, I don't know. But I think I didn't really know what I was doing. I was missing everywhere in qualifiers. And suddenly I realized that I need to focus, and then now I'm in grand finals, and I think I was definitely really nervous. Yeah. Because I got good grad to grand finals in my first tourney as well, so I was really
Oh
nervous.
wow. Is there anything that you tried to like any like methods that you tried to use to not get nervous in tournaments specifically? Like when you were getting into tournaments?
Uh, well, I didn't really get nervous like in my first matches because obviously I didn't know what I was doing. So
Right.
what I do is to not get nervous in tournaments is like I only get nervous because people have such high expectations to me. But like I said, I just need to not care about what people think, pretty much.
Okay, so it's basically just over time you've gotten better at not really caring about what other people think.
Yeah, as in expectations, yeah, because for some reason people just expect me to FC everything. So
Oh, okay. So okay, so I'm noticing this trend where like at the very beginning you don't get nervous at all because you don't know what you were doing, and then as you like sort of learn or like get more used to like what is considered good and what is considered not good, then you sort of put yourself in this situation where you compare what you're doing to like, oh, is this good or bad? Because like when you're very new, you don't really know what's good and what's not good. So then it's really hard to because like you only get nervous when you think that something is good, right? So
yeah,
is that sort of like does that sound accurate? Because I think that's what I'm hearing. Like as you're when you're a beginner, you're not really sure, and then as you get more experience, then you start getting nervous about like when things are good, and then like after a while of like needing to deal with that, you sort of figure out ways to tell yourself like or just like don't pay any attention to other people that are trying to tell you things.
yeah. So for like people who don't like for example, like people, a lot of people get nervous like just because they're in a tournament, right?
Right.
So what I would do is like I don't know how to explain it, but for example, you're playing in a tournament, the map just started. I'm not sure if people like get nervous at the beginning of a map. I'm not sure though.
I think I know a lot of people get nervous like in the first map or like first two maps, and then like it sort of goes away as they get into the match.
I think what I did is just treat it as a casual multiplayer match. Honestly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I did the same thing, so I completely agree with that. Um, but could you sort of talk about that a little more? Like, how exactly do you go about treating it like a casual multi?
Well, I used to play multi a lot, and I just treat them as casual, and I would like I guess I got decent at early stage just because of that, honestly. But so I treat it as a normal casual, like playing with friends, because most people I verse are friends.
Right.
So I just treat it as a casual multiplayer match, and we don't get mad at each other. Good sportsmanship, and then we just move on if we lose or win. I
Oh.
used to be really upset when I lose matches, but it's improved overall.
Oh, okay. That is good to hear. Yeah. Especially in 1v1s, it can be really hard to like after like grand finals or something, because like you know you're friends with some of these people, and like whether you win or lose in that grand finals match, like the next few days, like every time you talk to them, there's like I don't know if you get this, but like in the back of your mind, you just like think about like um, how do I word this? Like, you just think about, like, that match and, like, who ended up winning or losing it. Because like, if okay, in my experience, like if you like win a match against somebody that was like really tough or like close, and then like you talk to them again, like soon after that, then like I sometimes feel kind of bad. I don't know. Like, is that something that happens to you too?
Like, wait, what'd you say again? My
Oh,
mind is kind of like
you're
not working, I
okay.
guess.
You're good. So like after let's say like you won a really like intense match or something, um, and then like you you were playing against like a friend or something like that. Then after the match, like whether or not you won the match or lost it, then like after you talk to them again, like you sort of just keep thinking about the match. Like, is that something that happens to you? Like when you talk to that person
Uh,
again, you just are thinking about that match result.
no, for me, I think I just move on. Honestly, like surely, I know I lost a guaranteed spot to the win $100 more, but it's all good, I guess.
Okay, so you really just try your best to treat it as casual as possible.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not saying like not don't take tournaments seriously. I'm just saying it like you can take them seriously, but like at the same time treat it as a casual match.
Right. I definitely agree with that. Um so it's like related to tournament nerves. Um I know like do you ever find that like when you have really high accuracy in a tournament run, then like if you're SSing, then you're like more likely to just miss because you get caught up in like holding your SS. Is that something that's happened to you?
Like wait, what he's
Like
oh, I feel like yeah.
like if you have really good ac, or like you're SSing or something in a tournament, then like you're more likely to miss, or like you start thinking about the SS and then like you end up missing because of that. It-
Uh, like assessing.
yeah.
Uh, sometimes if I'm too worried about the SS, I just get an extra like 5 or 100s, honestly. But
Oh,
sometimes I can definitely do miss.
okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, do you sometimes drop accuracy intentionally just so that you don't have good ac anymore, and then you focus on combo?
I think I've only had two SSs in my tournament life, so yeah,
Right,
that's
but
it.
I think that that's interesting that you said you sometimes just get 100s just so that um you're not thinking about that anymore because yeah, definitely tournaments are a lot more combo oriented than maybe even than a lot of people think because of Score V2. Um
Yeah.
so yeah, that is very interesting. Um on another note, okay, so I was talking to Ed about this in our last interview, but like, have you found that, like, your, like, mentality like, the things that you've improved about your mentality for tournaments or, like, for OSU nerve control, like, has that affected, like, other areas of your life, like, when you're taking exams or some other stressful situation outside of OSU? Like, do you feel like you're better at handling those situations than you used to be?
I don't think so. Honestly, on my side, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I still feel nervous and sometimes even forget about stuff during those kind of stuff. Uh, so yeah, I don't think it's changed for me, but in those tournaments, it's changed. So yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Um Okay, so I think because I think we are approaching around 40 minutes, and I th- I suspect that there are quite a few viewer questions out there. So I think now might be a good time to grab some viewer questions. So those of you listening through the Discord server, um, if you could find the text thread called live chat. And if you have any questions, you can post them there. But in the meantime, Emmerich, do you have any just things that have come to mind that you want to mention?
Um, I don't know. I don't think I have, but yeah, pretty much everything I said. That
Okay. Um, okay. Fury Fish says do you ever get nervous and just focus on specifically controlling your shake, which then causes you to miss?
Uh, Controlling my shake. It doesn't cause me to miss, but because I don't think about shake that much. I just think about hitting the notes, but I don't concentrate too much on shake.
Okay, that is
Pretty
interesting.
much, I just play as usual.
Okay, yeah, I think that that makes sense actually because, um, like you could be not shaking and still miss. So,
Yeah.
right. Oh, this is an interesting question from Snowpoint. Do you do anything to quickly mentally reset if you're mid session or mid match and you notice your mental getting worse? So, do you have any
Uh,
like quick tips to reset your mental?
to reset my mental. I like mid like if you're losing like 3-0 or something, and then you get demotivated or something. I don't know. Is it something like that?
Right.
I don't know,
Oh, okay.
but I don't think I do anything. I think I just deal with it because I get that a lot, and I play a lot worse because because I'm under pressure. But I try not to think about it too much, so it's not really that much of my problem. Like
Okay.
as in like yeah, pressure.
So,
But
y- you just sort of try to forget about it, basically?
yeah, I I try to I usually just try to forget about the 3 area and just play like I said a casual multi, and then uh and I'll just try my best to make it come back.
Oh, okay. So I get okay, I see. So it ultimately I feel like for you all comes back to the sort of casual environment that you try to create. Um
Yeah.
okay. Oh, okay. Question from Bagel Seeker. So have you ever had a time where you undermine your own skill on purpose or like tell yourself that you're bad at the game just to calm yourself down? Like do you ever like if you're setting like a really good score that you sort of tell yourself like, "Oh, like, this score is not even that good," or something? Like, just for the sake of calming yourself down. Does that happen?
No. Like usually when like if it's not if even if I'm seeing something and like this is not even that great of a score, something you know something like that. But
Right.
I usually brush it off and I just say, okay, you know what? It's still an FC. It's all good.
Oh, okay.
So even if it's just a miss, and I'll just say, you know what? It's all good. I've hit better scores already, or something like that, and I can do better.
Oh, okay. So, I if you do end up so I is this sort of talking about, like, when you choke in in runs, and then you just sort of tell yourself that it's okay? Or what?
When I choke on runs, I just say if I choke, then it's definitely doable because I one missed it or three missed it. You know, if you choke, the only thing that it says is that I can. That just means I can FC it because I choked it, right? So
Right. Okay, I see. Um Okay, actually, okay, there are a lot of good questions here. Okay, what I'm gonna do is if you guys could help us out, if you see a question that you also would want asked, then could you put a like thumbs up reaction on it or something like that so that I can look through them a bit more quickly. And Emmerich, I'm not sure if you have the channel up open as well, the text
oh
channel.
yeah I had the live chat open.
Okay. Um, Oh, okay, that is a lot of thumbs. Okay, so Aiden asks, "Do you feel the amount of sleep you get affects your nerves?"
No. Sometimes like there's a match. There's a match at 2 a.m., but there's also a match at 10 a.m. And I don't think I feel the nerves affect my sleep, but it definitely affect my playability to play maps and such.
Oh, okay. So you still get the same amount of nerves even when you're like really tired or something?
Yeah, but yes, but I obviously will play a lot worse because I'm on lack of sleep or I'm playing really tired. So yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, I think that makes sense. That makes sense. Um, okay. Next question from my angel Asagiri says, "What motivates you to play the game?" A bit unrelated to nerve control, but I think it's actually still a pretty good question to ask.
What motivates me to play the game? It's the fact that I play the game for fun and when I want to. Sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes it is. It's just my mood. And what motivates me to play the game is that honestly, I don't know. I just do like this game is fun. I'll just play it, and I just play it. Sometimes I know a lot of people have really bad mindsets, but that's like I think my mindset is like it's important because I think it's got to me where I am now.
Oh, okay. So,
Uh,
um, you ultimately it seems like it's just really just because it's fun. And actually, on that note, like ever since you got rank one, because you've been rank one, I think for a couple months now.
yes.
Do you get any pressure on yourself to play the game just because of that?
No, I think being number one just motivates me because I know I've worked hard for this and it was worth grinding it.
Oh,
So
I see.
yeah.
Um, okay. So, question from Cash and Clean. When you're FCing a map and start to get nervous, do you tend to misclick or have your tapping hand affected by nerves?
Oh wait. Oh yeah, yeah. When I'm FCing something, sometimes I tend to accidentally click a different key. So, for example, my tapping keys are KL, and I accidentally press M or something, as and my index finger just slips. Or and so yes, my tapping hands are sometimes they just don't tap, and then I fail.
Oh,
Sometimes that happens.
do you have any tips for dealing with that, or do you just kind of deal with it?
It doesn't happen very often with me, but it's very stressful when it happens. So I don't think I like know any tips about it.
Oh, do you have any tips for maybe like getting over it? Like if that does happen, like as far as like affecting your mental and things like that. Like if you mess up a really good run just because your finger slipped, and then does that tend
Uh,
to affect your mental during your session or not really?
a little bit, but not like not too hard. Like maybe I'll be like, well, that just happened. How?
Okay,
But like I don't get affected like as much. Like maybe it's some maybe I could just brush it off because that's common to people. So
right.
no, so
Okay, so
that happens a lot.
and then you sort of just try to move on after that. It seems like.
Yes.
Um. Oh, okay. Another question from Fury Fish. So would you say your tapping or aim is more affected by nerves?
I think my aim is more affected because for some reason when I get nerves, I have better speed. I don't know why. I guess and
Oh,
yeah,
right. I think that is something that like I think like adrenaline is one of those things that like you get really hyped up about the score and then like your fingers get really loose. Is that something that happens? Because
yeah.
I know some people say that like in tournament matches sometimes like their speed is better because they're like a bit more like nervous about the match, kind of like enough that like their tapping hand gets like more speed or stamina or something like that. So does that happen to
Uh,
you too?
uh, since I don't really know, I used to have like if I didn't have, I used to be like, for example, in Ocean World Cup 2020, I used to be like, I can't speed this map when I warmed up, but in the tournament, I'll just FC it because of nerves, the nerve speed thing. So,
Oh,
but
okay.
now I can't really abuse that anymore because I improved my nerves.
Oh my
So,
god. Oh.
yeah.
So what I'm hearing is that we should never improve our nerves for tournaments.
I think you should still improve your nerves and then just focus on improving your speed instead. But
Okay.
I think it's just a me problem.
Okay, so question from Triple, also a little unrelated to nerve control, but I think it is a pretty good question. So, what do you do when you feel like you're hitting a wall or like being stuck at a certain skill level?
Uh,
Or has that
I
never really happened to you?
It definitely has happened to me, but I like, for example, what I do is that I focus on my weaknesses and I improve those, right? And then I just play forward. I
Okay.
guess.
So my understanding is like if you're hitting a wall, then what you should do is just sort of take a step back and reassess like your strengths and weaknesses and try to figure out like what should you be focusing on the most to get yourself to start improving again.
Yeah, I guess so. Also, I've also seen a lot of people be like, "Oh, this person is so good. I would never be like him." But that's a really bad mindset to get used to. Pretty
Oh,
much, I think what I did is I took inspiration. It's not like use other players as a part of demotivation.
oh, could you talk about that a little bit? Like, do you have an example of inspirations?
For example, I would never be as good as Mirami in speed. I would never be a speed god like him. That just makes it like that just makes you like that'll just make you a bad mindset, and then you'll probably like slow down your improvement. I think because
Oh,
because when you're tilted, you will obviously play a lot less and play a
right.
lot more worse, and a lot of people get demotivated. You know.
So, right. On that note, do you have any comments on the whole genetics um meme? You want to
I
give your 2 cents?
I would if it was a joke, if it was a joke, then I wouldn't, then that's fine, but I a lot of people take it seriously and I don't like seeing that, honestly. But yeah, uh yeah. I think someone just created it as an excuse, like, I don't know, but if you just say that, then that's not a very good mindset, you know?
Right. I feel like that actually started as a meme, or at least that's what I tried to tell myself to make myself feel better about the fact that so many people say it.
And that also and that also like and that also like that just like, for example, you're saying, oh, this guy's only good because of genetics. That just ruins all of my credibility for being good, I guess. So it,
Yeah, I get that. So you're saying that like when people look at your like skill level and they just say genetics, then that like makes you feel like discredited of like the amount of work that you put in.
well, I'll put I see it as that way, but I try not to care as much because that's obviously not true. So
Okay,
yeah.
that is good. Um, okay, a question from Creamy12 says, have him talk about mind block. Okay, so before I get to that, I do want to mention that so this is a week of of interviews about nerve control, and the next series of interviews that we're going to be doing is going to be focused all about mind block. So yeah, look forward to that. Those of you who are interested in having top players talk about mind block. So yeah, look forward to that. That'll probably be in a couple of weeks. But since we're here, Emmerich, do you have any comments about mind block?
Uh, Mind block. I've been mind blocking many maps, and I think one of the known methods is what people call the Australian method or something. And I used it on Black Rover, and it's very good for mind blocks. Like
Oh,
you go to your settings, you flip your monitor, you flip your tablet area, and yeah.
I I think because of that Black Rover score, I've heard people just call it the Emmerich method.
Yeah. So, well, it just flips the whole map. So it fixes mind block for me. It has fixed my lonely gold mind block, everything. It doesn't help on every single map though. Pretty much.
Have you ever used that in tournaments?
No, because uh because I lack on practicing maps, so I don't get mind blocked.
Oh my god! All right, let's go. It's funny. Um,
Yeah,
oh, someone is asking what is mind block? Okay, yeah. So basically, it's like when you like have played a pattern so many times that you stop reading it correctly and you just keep making the same mistake, but like you can't tell why, basically. So like
yeah,
you just like make a certain mistake for no reason and you can't figure out like why.
yeah,
It's
pretty
like very
much.
hard to fix. But yeah, if you guys are interested more in mind block discussion, look forward to those interviews that will be happening in a couple of weeks. Or if you guys are listening on YouTube, then probably check out the YouTube channel because it those interviews might be there. But yeah, okay. I remember someone asked about changing skins, or like cursor during like to reset nerves or something, or like go in to a map with a fresh mentality or something. Is that something that
Uh,
you've tried?
no, because I just use the same three skins that I always use.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, because any other skin, like I'm pretty sure it's either the Rafa skin or the Boop skin that just I only use, and the Aristia or the Valve skin that I only use.
Oh, okay,
Pretty much.
okay. I see. Um, okay. Another question from my angel Asagiri says, what's going on in your mind when you're nervous and you're FCing a map in a tournament?"
What's going on? I'm nervous. I tend to think that it's like obviously I'd get nervous, and I get even more nervous because when the other person misses it, I have a lot more pressure on my hands.
Oh,
Pretty much.
yeah. So you said that you don't do anything to block the leaderboards. Like you see it during breaks and stuff, or like when you check it.
Yeah.
Um, do you ever like you feel this sort of pressure when like let's say it's a 1v1 and like you have like 500 combo and they have 0 and like you're about to pass them, um and it's like almost the end of the map, for example, like do you have like do you tend to feel pressured in those situations, and like do you have any strategies to not have that affect you so much?
Uh, uh, n- so when that happens, I do feel a lot of pressure, and I tell myself, "Oh my god, he broke! It's my chance to come back." And I either miss or I actually come back, and I think 40% of the time I miss.
Okay, so it's kind of just random.
Yeah, so I'm kind of planning myself to get used to the no leaderboard thing, so I don't notice when he misses or not.
Oh, okay. So wait, so you said you're planning on like getting used to just not checking the leaderboard so that that doesn't
Yes, so
happen?
I just press tab and then no leaderboard, but I'm still waiting for the feature when no leaderboard will be shown during break. That's all.
Oh, okay, yeah, hopefully soon. Um, do you have actually, because I don't know if you've seen the recent discussion, if you have any comments on that. So basically, um, a couple days ago, there was an update that so there's a skin element that like lets you cover the leaderboard even during breaks. But then the last update unintentionally made that not work anymore. And then Pepe's like, "Oh, why are people like trying to treat it so much like solo play or something? Like, why are you trying to ignore all the competition around you? Like, then it's not a tournament anymore." Do you have any thoughts on that perspective?
Well, one thing if you don't see the leaderboard, you will feel a lot less pressure, and that helps with tournament play. So I think I would disagree with Pepe's take because like you're not really ignoring the tournament aspects around you. You're like just trying to focus and try to win that point, you know?
Right. Okay.
Because when you just leave when you like when the break is on, you realize that you're winning, and then you're like, oh my god, I'm about to win, and then you just miss, you know? But if you don't see it during breaks, you will never feel that. So
Right.
yeah.
So, but do you feel like that takes away from the whole competitive aspect? Because, like if all the players sort of see the game as like their own individual world, then doesn't that sort of take away from the competitive aspect? Because like the way that you perceive like the gameplay is different from like what the viewers like the viewers see all the scores at once, but you're only seeing yourself. Like that does that make sense to you in a like competitive like
Well,
standpoint?
I think it will still be competitive. You don't see the leaderboard. Like you still see the leaderboard after the map ends, right? And then
Right.
you'll still see. So I don't think it's much of a problem to like not have breaks.
Okay. Okay. I see. Um okay, awesome. I think we can start wrapping things up. Do you have any last comments or things that you want to tell people about controlling their nerves?
Uh, just pretty much like to control your nerves. Control your nerves. I can't explain it, but like you're in like just try and tell your mind that everything's alright. Uh, and like don't care what other people think. Just and if you better say your top player or something, just remember. I can't I can't like I can't explain it, but like, yeah, oh
You're
no,
good.
oh my god, no. Like yeah, so these are my last words before the interview ends, right?
um, I mean, we have a couple more minutes still, so just um, just a note that I think we're wrapping things up soon. I might take one or two more questions from the chat as well, but um, yeah, if you want, we can come back to those closing thoughts.
What are my thoughts on the phrase? It's just a game. So when people say it's just a game, you are kind of just taking off the credibility of people who actually want to focus and make a career out of the game, because to them, it's not just a game. Like
Oh,
like like people who take the game seriously, if to them is not just a game, they actually want to like take it a step further, and that's respectable. You know?
right, and you don't want to discredit those people that work hard for that.
Yes.
Uh,
And yeah, so yeah, the phrase is just a game is like yeah, I don't mind if you use it as a way to improve your mindset, but when you just say it after like something happens, that just isn't a way of helping something. Yeah.
okay, I agree. I agree. Valid opinion. Okay, I think this might be the last question that I take from Arch. Arch, is that right? ARCHE. Emmerich said that his mindset got him here. Can he explain his mindset?
Yeah, so that mindset got me there. But when people say it like wrongly, like something like oh he lost a tournament, he just lost, he could have won a few more dollars if he didn't lose that tiebreaker, and someone says it's just a game. And this is being said a lot, by the way, and that's just not right. You know, it's completely fine to use it as a mindset, but when people say it as like, but when people say it as in that just kind of sucks, man. So.
So you're talking about like when like after you lose a match or something and everyone tries to like console you or like help you feel better by just telling you that it's just a game. Is that
because
is that what you're
because to
talking
a
about?
lot of people because to a lot of people it's the game is not just a game, you know, so kind of just like making people lose credibility.
Okay, I see. So as far as like when you were improving like mindset wise, especially as you were like grinding to, you know, get good enough to take rank 1, is there anything that you would say is like special about your mindset that let you keep grinding to improve that much?
I honestly I think it just came to me gradually because like I think I had a really good mindset because I broke my laptop and I was couldn't play the Osu for a year, and that whole year I couldn't play Osu. I just wanted to touch the game and I just wanted to play it.
Oh, that's interesting.
and and once I got my hands on the game, I was so happy. And then I got my first 500 on Snow Halation, because I found out that because I found out that farm maps are so much easier, and then I got my first 500, and then kept on going, and now the
Oh,
game is very fun sometimes. So
so
yeah,
it seems like it was just a matter of like always having fun with the game. That's something that drove you to keep improving.
and if you're not having fun at the game, then just take a break, pretty much.
Okay,
Because people, if you don't have fun, then why are you playing the game?
right.
Yeah,
Agreed. Agreed. Um, but yeah, I think that is a really good note to end things off, to be honest. Um, but yeah, any closing thoughts or you think we're good?
I think we're good.
Okay. Yeah, thanks again to Emmerich for joining and for all of you who are listening to this live. If you're listening on YouTube, well, first of all, thanks for making it this far. Um, I am going to try working on making a SoundCloud and or Spotify for those of you who want to listen to this audio only. So potentially, if you're listening on those platforms, then we appreciate you as well. Um, as far as other interviews, so in a couple hours, actually, in 6 hours, will be our interview with Zudinator. So check that out. We'll be talking about nerve control as well. Um, for those of you who have suggestions on topics that you might want to be covered, that you might want to have covered in future interview weeks, leave those in the comment section on YouTube. That is the best place to put them. And if you see any comments that you think that you would also want to see suggestions, please just use the upvote feature and upvote them so that we can see which features have the highest demand. But yeah, that's going to wrap things up. If you want to get involved in these interviews as well, definitely the best thing to do would be to join the OC University Discord server. Um, but yeah, we appreciate you all listening and see you next time. Bye.